We're good. Health is good. Start stream.
Everything's flowing. Everything's going.
Mm-hmm.
Rolling.
And we should be live.
Perfect.
Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Stop streaming. We're good to go.
Awesome. I'm going to hit them like this because we feel that racism and sexism and class separation, that these are desecrations, and we feel that the American flag does not represent integrity, honor, justice, or truth. Because my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of poverty. For thee I weep. Land where my mother cried, land where my father died. Sweet land of genocide, pride of my heart. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of industry. Will break your back, clean out your minerals, fill you with chemicals. We kill for what is profitable. O concrete world. Our climate suffering, all nature feels the sting. Poisoned progress. All of these mouths to feed, all of this land to seed, from sea to shining sea, gold underground. People left to die, battlefield countryside, paved over graves. Suburban privileges make desolate villages, broken treaties, broken promises. Conquer, repeat. All warriors represent, remind those who forget. The time is now to walk in humble pride, prepare and fortify, resist comforts of compromise, and pray for guidance. Those are the words from Naco and Medicine for the people. And with everything that we've all been going through lately, I feel like they could resonate really well for all of us. So, welcome to the show, everybody.
Yeah, welcome.
We, the motherfucking people, have a goddamn right to disobey unjust laws. Thomas Jefferson said it himself. That is why we continue to resist. Fuck authority.
There's a word that's been resonating in my head with all this and just been playing back and back and back. The word non-compliance.
I have a better word for you. How about this one? Civil disobedience.
That too.
That's where I'm at, ladies and gentlemen.
We are at an interesting state of things. A lot of things have happened since we've last seen you guys. And we're going to tell you about them because it's a lot of shit. So it's a lot of shit. A lot of jabs in our gut. They've hit us in the gut. They've hit us where it hurts the most. And it's a really shitty situation. It really is.
Keep ducking and dodging. That's what we gotta do.
This is a boxing match. We're only in round 3 right now. There's 10 fucking rounds, and we're not done yet.
He's getting killed in there. You gotta throw in the towel.
Throwing the taco, right? Throwing the taco? Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Okay,
taco.
That's how today's going. I'm saying throwing the taco. Okay. Before we get into everything, do you want to kind of lighten the mood a little bit and tell everybody what you're vaping on?
Yeah, because you know what? What I'm vaping on tonight strictly revolves around everything tonight that's going to be talked about. This is all I'm vaping on right now because I need my big boy vapes in my life. I can't be doing the little mouth to lungers. I need my big boy clouds. So I've been rocking that Dreamer Ardent combo with the constant contact switch in copper because it's like a fucking boss. Like Mike Tyson punching you in the mouth with vapor. Yeah. And inside of that, if you guys watched me on Green Room, you know I was talking about it. Here it is. This is solely cannoli by my boys at 80V ADV. Get it? 80 volts, ADV, all day vape. Yeah, some sparkling wordplay for your ass. Anyway, these guys make this liquid just down the street from where I live. And in light of the news yesterday, life just got a whole lot harder for these guys. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but that's basically all I'm vaping on right now. Just straight to Meccan because I need the biggest hits I can rip because adults like flavors.
Oh, sweet. I've had a couple new things come to the desk since we've seen each other last. Well, one of the setups has changed, but it's just in a different place. So, first of all, I got my Sigelli 213 with my Blotto.
Blotto life.
And then inside of there, where is it? I got some Guerrilla Warfare .270 strawberry, which
That
is
feels like an appropriate name for a company right now.
Guerrilla Warfare, yeah,
Mm.
definitely. And then next, I got my Black Copper Dreamer with the Ohana from Mr. Johnny Dribbles and Heavy. And tipping over shit. Fuck. And then inside of there, I got some Just Strawberry Punch from Hometown Hero. And then finally, the new I got in today that I don't think anybody really has their hands on yet. I know some people have them. But I got my Tenacious Unicorn from Mr. Stan TenaciousTXVapes and Unicorn Vapes.
The tenacity of that guy.
And Ardent hybridized down there. I mean, come on. Just look at it. Would you just look at that? That's just great. And inside of there, I got another liquid from some good friends of mine who are also going to be impacted by what's going on. I got some straight up e-liquids, straight up apple. And let's see, do I have anything else? I don't think I do right now.
I have to point out, you said throw in the taco and LabWorks arrives.
Of course.
Speak of great foods and LabWorks shall appear.
Speak of food and LabWorks appears. What do you
Absolutely.
think of that? So yeah, guys, I'm trying to figure out how to start this because if you have been paying attention,
I'm gonna tear right into it. How about this? All right, you guys already know. Massachusetts said, "Fuck a flavor ban. We're gonna ban it all. Fuck you if you don't like it." My personal opinion, I'm about to express like this: Charlie Baker hates me. Charlie Baker, governor of Massachusetts. Charlie Baker hates me. That guy right there. That guy right there. See him? This dickhead. This guy's face. The smirk. This piece of shit. Yeah, he hates me and doesn't want me to have any kind of access to any vape products, period, end. So that's everything. He literally shut down all the vape shops. There's even been lots of stories of state police walking into vape shops and literally shutting them down.
Yeah, it's been literally crazy over there. I would have never expected things to get to that point. But
yeah,
it kind of puts us in a situation where we kind of know what we're up against now, what kind of limits people are willing to take to make sure their point is taken. And there's been a couple other things that's happened this past week that's been very
so like literally to follow that up immediately a day later today, this afternoon, Gina Raimondo of Rhode Island passed a flavor ban.
So there's a few states that are still up in the air about it. We know LA unanimously passed theirs. So what we know with California is they came out straight up saying like the way our legislators are in the state, they can't do a straight up emergency action. There has to be some kind of legislation to go through it. So California is not fully lost yet. It's coming in pieces.
Yeah, it's moving county by county.
That's how they're doing it. Because once to the point where if enough counties do it and then they go for an actual legislation on this, it will probably unanimously pass throughout the state. And California being as big a state as it is, that's a lot of shops. I mean, you can look at probably any kind of liquid you have, and 95% of them is probably manufactured in California. That's just the state of it. It really, it's kind of crazy. We know New Jersey just had their
so meeting. New Jersey's an interesting one, and I think that's one that
don't think New Jersey is lost.
Yeah, New Jersey's kind of this like weird gray situation right now, okay? Because what happened yesterday was a hearing, and they had an overwhelming turnout of vapors. They outnumbered the antis, and that is huge. The only article, honestly, that I could actually find discussed the fact that there was a lot of people discussing the sentiment of black market threats discussing the sentiment of jobs lost, all of these different things, the importance of flavors, the success stories. They came out in numbers. And this board, this committee that they put together in New Jersey now has until October 3rd to draft some ideas as to what they're going to do. And there is hope. There is hope that this got stressed enough to them in such a manner that proper common sense legislation could happen. And that is one of the things that we're looking for.
Because one thing happened at that thing that really doesn't happen that often at these kind of hearings. These people on the boards actually listened.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching the streams, looking at these people. Like, you look at back the Michigan one and like the New York one, people were barely fucking paying attention. These people were, when people are speaking, telling their testimonies, these people on the board were looking at them, watching them, writing down notes. They saw countless times. The moment somebody said something, the notes were written right after they said it. So these people are listening. So anybody in New Jersey, anybody in that area, don't give up hope. Just because nothing has been said yet doesn't mean nothing bad will happen. But it also means that we're not out of the dirt yet on them. So anybody in the New Jersey area, my thoughts are with you guys. It's gonna be a tough little road. You guys are still waiting for things to happen, and hopefully these people put it in the right direction. They take the correct actions and do it, because we've already seen a few states that are taking different approaches. Like New Hampshire's taking a different approach. They straight up said they're not going to do a straight up emergency action. They're going to do it through a legislative way. We got Arizona, who said that they're not going to do an emergency action because they're going to look at a different way of doing things. They're going to dig deep into what they think is actually going on and take a different approach to it. Which, kind of funny that the way I look at it is, okay, we all know about the MSA agreement. We know about what states get the most money from the MSA. And if you look at it, you can kind of notice a trend a little bit, because all of these states that get the most amount of money from the Master Settlement Agreement are the states these bans have taken place in. Is that coincidence, or tinfoil hack started to come on? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it is very telling when you're looking at the states that do get the most MSA money and the states that do have the highest tax rates, and they are the states that are passing all this legislation. I don't think it's, really conspiracy theory at that rate. It's literally being able to look at data and correlate, a situation happening. That being said, we're in a weird situation now where, as many of us have been saying, things are going to keep getting worse before they get better. And that's what's happening right now. We are getting hammered left and right. We are getting punched and kicked, and it's an uphill battle, and it's extremely difficult to deal with, and it gets overwhelming and it gets frustrating. And I'm here to tell you that you've got to pace yourself. The fight is going to take so much energy. It really does. Anybody who spends 15 minutes on Twitter, trying to counter some of the nonsense that is being said, you already know just how aggravating and tiring it can get. That being said, you can't stop. You can't stop. And beyond that, you need to motivate other people. It's interesting to me because I've been seeing it where there are people I know who otherwise were not that active in all of this. And here we go now. We've got people who are actually speaking out in ways that they never spoke before. I know an individual who did a fantastic job on an individual basis. When they encountered a smoker or they encountered a vapor, they were really good at educating a person. But as far as a social media form of activism and advocacy, it wasn't there. And now that individual is even there. hammering it home, because they get it, they see it, they understand that at this point it has to be on every front. We have to do what we have to do. I mean, this is a person who never thought in their life that they would be making phone calls to the governor and to the White House, but they're doing it because they get it now. They see it. And that's the kind of motivation that we need. I mean, I'm going to be real. Something I haven't really discussed much was very recently I took a job with a local e-liquid distribution company. And honestly, I was extremely excited to get back into the industry. They sought me specifically, knowing me and wanting my expertise in all of this to help them educate as things went forward. And with this emergency action happening the way it did here in my state, and then them doing the exact same thing with a flavor ban in Rhode Island today, we literally lost 80% of the territory. In 2 days, in 48 hours, 80% of their business got taken away from them for the next 4 months. Now, that's a company that may, in 4 or 5 months, be able to regain that, but all of these states are leaving it open to further this legislation, as well as take it as a stepping stone and act on it to make it permanent legislation. So there is a distinct possibility the state of Massachusetts may outright ban vaping. It will be illegal in the state of Massachusetts to buy or sell vaping products, period. And all that does is create an underground market. And I won't lie. I mean, I'm already of the opinion that if I have people who are not connected and need help, I will help them. I don't want to let anybody go back to smoking if I can help it. And that is literally where I'm at now. I mean, today I watched an individual who his vape died on him. He was waiting till Friday for payday to be able to go buy a new one. And then this ban happened. And now he's smoking again.
Was it the guy you work with?
This is a guy I work with. The kid who went to vaping first so he wouldn't go back to smoking. Now he's back to smoking. In 24 hours, he's back to smoking.
That's all it takes. Just 24 hours. And like you can probably guess the hundreds of other people who did the exact same thing. It's it's a crazy situation. It's like I can't even be angry about it anymore because it just gets me so fucking, like, I'm getting fucking down on myself about things. Like, trying to figure out that what I'm looking at this as like an individual's perspective, but trying to figure out what I can do to do more. When obviously there's so many other people, so many people out there that have been busting their ass on Twitter and all that stuff and I've been trying to do what I can do. I mean, without going nuts on myself and driving myself insane, because I can be honest here. I've lost hours of sleep because of what's going on. I've lost days of sleep probably from what's going on. So I'm trying to get within myself right now to where having the mindset to where I can't give up, but we won't, like, having the mindset of telling people like this won't be able to stop us and all that kind of thing. It's tough, guys. It really is. It's hard to keep a positive mindset when just every day you just get punched in the stomach by different legislators throughout the country. And right now it seems like the East Coast is just tearing everybody down. So the one thing I can tell people is just don't give up hope. There's people behind the scenes that are taking the proper actions. I know just recently, I believe 2 liquid manufacturers just filed a lawsuit against the New York Department of Public Health. The VTA just announced that, I would say, earlier today. So,
and speaking of the VTA, they also decided to confront the FDA, the Trump administration, the FTC, with 11 points of action that they believe can help combat the youth epidemic. And that is a fantastic step. So there's a lot of action taking place. You know, AO said it perfectly right here in the chat. They can knock us down, but they will never be able to stop us. And that is a fact. I mean, I without snitching on anybody, I know of a shop that is, they're going to keep their doors open and keep providing for their customers until they get a cease and desist.
Until the police officers actually show up at their footstep or doorstep and say, "You guys stop this," or I can see like there's people out there which I know they're not going to go on without a fight. You're going to have to drag them out of their damn doors to tell them to stop doing business, and that's the mindset that everybody needs to have. I mean, it's a tough situation. It's really tough. I mean, it's crazy how you're looking at people doing things and you're like, okay, as of now, this is effective. But then you look at what LA did. They gave them 120 days. That, I would say, I'm looking at it from an outside looker in perspective of trying to, okay, a flavor ban went through. But then you're looking at, I would say that's, I'm not saying that's enough time, but it gives companies time to prepare. 120 days is 3 months. 3 months to get their shelves emptied, get their stuff off the market, get their final actions taken. It's not enough time because, in my opinion, these people are living from order to order. A lot of shops out there usually aren't making like the huge profit like these legislators think of where they think everybody that owns a shop is a millionaire driving a nice car and just giving their kids fucking vapes. Because that's the mindset they have. They think, oh yeah, these people who own these shops, no, they're just feeding their kids fucking jewels and jewel pods. It's not the case. So my thoughts are with everybody that's dealing with this hard time. It's the best way I can give people advice of what they can do to help things out. Just be loud.
Yep, get louder. You know, one of the things that we're talking about here in chat, you guys, you know, if you got an abundance of mods, you know, I got a buddy of mine who is addicted to buying random shit. Like, he gets a good deal and he's gonna buy it, but he's got a ton of like mods that just aren't really his thing, you know. But he bought them because he wanted to test them out and mess with them. Those are the people right there who, you know, we can start clearing out some of that old stuff that you're not using and helping these people when their things break down, when they need that help. You know, there's a lot of us out here who refuse to let people go back to smoking. And at this point, when you're affected like this, that's what we're going to do. You know, I know some of the manufacturers here in my state, they're being allowed to continue to manufacture because they can still sell outside of the state, but they can't sell to any of their customers in the state.
Well, there's a lot of manufacturers whose main source of profit is within their local area, and it sucks. It's a really shitty thing.
Absolutely.
That's where you have the best relationships, is the people you see face to face.
Right. And I mean, that's one of the things. Like, they had a shop right in my downtown area. They're not able to operate.
I mean, look at Vapor Image. You told me when this thing went through, they had to close their doors. Their doors are closed, right?
Yeah, that the shop's closed. The shop's probably done for because I know enough to know that 4 months is a death sentence for that shop. 4 months of no income at all is a death sentence. A month might have been realistic. A month might have worked. You know, even giving him an opportunity to liquidate, so that way he could have gotten some money up to hold things open. But a 4 month ban is probably going to kill his shop, and you know that's the problem, right? It feels like it's so calculated. When you look at something like 3 and 4 month long bans, and you recognize that all that's going to do is kill these small mom and pop shops, these people who make their living off of 60 mil and 100 mil bottles of e-liquid, coils, and that sort of thing. this is going to kill them. This is putting them all completely out of business. You know, for the many of us in here who are MechMod fans, HDNE was made here in Massachusetts. They had to close their doors yesterday. It's over for them.
HDNE?
HDNE.
Who's
It's
that
over.
Again?
No more.
I'm having a brain fart of who that is.
That was Hutchinson's project before he moved on to the Plan B TVL world.
Gotcha. Okay.
He sold it to a gentleman here in Massachusetts, and that dude has been carrying on the HDNE line, and it's all gone. It's all gone. So, you know, these are examples of how this is dramatically affecting people when you're doing this. And it's hard, like I said, it's hard to not feel like it's calculated because they know. The big tobacco brands will be there in 3-4 months to come back. These mom and pops won't. And that hurts us, the hobbyist. That hurts the people that have gone this direction instead of pod systems. And beyond all that, as we all know, it completely ignores the goddamn problem at hand, which is an illicit black market product.
That you just created the biggest black market product in your state. Like, for the amount of shops and for the amount of people that vape in the state of Massachusetts.
We have 9,800 tobacco-related deaths a year in the state, and not a single death related to vaping. Okay? Not a single death in this state related to vaping. 9,800 a year related to smoking-related illness. And that's not a public health emergency. For a little bit of time, my state was the opiate capital of the fucking country for a couple years. We had the biggest heroin problem in the fucking country in Boston, Plymouth County, all these areas here. That wasn't a health emergency. I live in a state with safe injection sites where we give heroin addicts a safe place and clean needles to shoot up. But we ban vaping. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely fucking ludicrous. It makes no sense. It is government overreach. And the worst part is it's proving to the masses that are watching it that people don't care enough to even stand up against it. Because in this state, life continues to move on. And yes, I am honored to see people that I know in my state who have no dog in this fight standing up going, wait. This is fucked up. This is beyond, you know, your scope of power. But is it enough? Is it enough? You know, I've always said we need those voices, and now we're getting them. But is it enough? Is it enough now? It would have been enough then if we could have gotten them then. I don't know if it's enough now. We need more of them.
The governor didn't even give the people the opportunity to actually stand up and tell their testimonies and fight. He literally just after... I believe this came through... Was it during the New Jersey hearing?
Yeah, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he held a press conference. By 6 in the evening, all vaping was banned. And somewhere in between all that, the fucking state police took it upon themselves to start shutting people down. To literally start showing up to vape shops and forcing them to close their doors. And this has been confirmed by multiple sources that I trust throughout the industry in my local area. So I know it's not hearsay anymore. This is fucking insane. Gestapo? I mean, that's what this sounds like. This sounds like the goddamn Gestapo coming in and shutting down businesses because somebody doesn't like what they do. It's not American. It's not constitutional. And the problem is the damage will already be done before we can reverse it. Because court actions take time.
The damage is already done. It's crazy. And I've been hearing through the grapevine that, I'm not sure if this is accurate, don't quote me that this is an actual accurate thing, but I've been hearing that these people that are losing their jobs and losing these businesses won't be able to file for unemployment because their job was considered illegal.
Yeah, that is an option. Whether or not that will be the case for these individuals remains to be seen, but that is an option.
Because that's something that's a role they can easily take.
Mm-hmm. That is definitely a direction they can go. So,
I mean, that just tells you, like, something like that, if that actually was shown on paper to where these people aren't able to file because their jobs are shown up as that the former employment they have was illegal, that's when you know this is more than just vaping.
Mm-hmm.
That is the point where you're given... I think that will be the point for the state of Massachusetts where people decide to finally open their fucking eyes. I'm hoping that... I don't want that to happen. Nobody wants that to happen. Because think of how many thousands of people who just lost their jobs because of this.
Yeah, man.
You don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that.
I've read statistics anywhere between 300 and 600 shops in the state of Massachusetts.
And think how many people work at those shops. Think of how many locations they have.
Yeah. I mean, my old shop, there were 3 of us. There are shops with 7, 8, 10 employees as well. There are shops that have chains, which means that they've got, 5 or 6 locations with, 5 or 6 employees in every location. They're shit out of luck. Help your neighbors, help your friends.
This is a point right now where everybody in this industry needs to band together and fucking get rid of all the drama, get rid of any kind of differences people had, and just work together to work. On something that will help others.
I already have people reaching out to me, who weren't plugged in, that got blindsided, and they're now going, dude, I needed to get my liquid this week, and now I don't know how to do it. What do I do? Help me, please? Like I said, I refuse to let these people go back to cigarettes, and I told them, give me a couple days, but I will track it down. I will get it for you one way or the other.
I think Addy speaks kind of wonders on this right now. He put up the Governor Baker and Governor Polito, whatever fuck her name is, I don't care. She can pretty much go away for all I care. But he put down the phone number to their office, and he put something right under there to where, sadly, he went right through.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is nobody's calling their office. It's a sad thing.
Well, this is the thing, right? I don't know that we can... Oh, hello.
Hi, Aziz.
Hello. I think I stepped in the wrong room. So.
Oh, goddamn it, Aziz.
Bud,
Sorry.
Now that you popped on, you gotta give me your perspective on the state of Massachusetts outright banning all sale of vape products, effective immediately as of yesterday.
Okay, so they passed the law, right?
Yep. It's effective. All the vape shops are closed in my state for the next 4 months.
Okay, my point of view on that situation, that really sucks. That's a given, but I think they're just starting with smaller states, going from small to big, so they can show other states that if we can do this in this specific state, we can do this across the United States. And both me, you, and Corey know big pharma and tobacco. They're a major entity.
Yeah.
And also, we brought this upon us since we exploded in the past 7 years since 2012.
Yeah.
We saved a lot of lives. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not mad because of us vapors. I'm mad because some people didn't get that choice. I was given that choice. I took the vaping route. But I'm mad because someone called, I don't know, Stan or Sam or whatever, Sally, didn't get that choice.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, and I'm glad that you just popped in, because that is perspective from Kuwait, outside of the United States.
Yeah, and that decision doesn't only affect the United States. It'll affect me, because most of my products I get from the States.
And a lot of the products you get are on the East Coast.
Believe it or not,
I believe.
My favorite juice is from the States. This is my, if you know me, this is my all-day vape. I vape 3 or 4 bottles a week of this juice.
Yep. And it's being threatened at every turn.
Exactly. Just put our shit aside, band up together, and fight this through. Because believe it or not, if I had what is it called? An issue, for example, with Sean. Sean is literally fucked, because Massachusetts passed a bill to ban all vape product, not just flavors, all vape product. If I had an issue with Sean and I didn't ban up with him at that time, that's the end product.
You said it, bro. You know, and that's one of the things that I'm preaching now, guys, is at this stage, you know, if you got homies, brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, whatever, in a state that's affected and they need your help, we got to help. You know, we as a community, we have a strong bond, and that's our desire to stay healthy and to not ever go back to cigarettes or any form of tobacco, because there are vapors who used to dip. So, I mean, that's our end goal. And right now, you need to keep teaching people, and you need to help your brothers, and you need to help your sisters, because there are a lot of people who aren't as fortunate as us to have the connections we have within the community and industry. And we need to get them all involved. We need to come together, and we need to all be one cohesive unit.
I was telling my brother this. He just started getting into the vaping. Pretty much the kind of stuff I've been using. I've let him use some sub-O tanks and some regulated mods. He's been fucking pissed off and like stressing out about this. I looked at him like, you don't have to worry about not being able to get your hands on stuff. I told him I will make sure that doesn't happen, because he's come up and straight up said that he likes tobacco flavors, because he's somebody out there who actually likes the taste of tobacco. So he likes some vaping tobacco liquids, but he also likes stuff that there's tobacco liquids with different flavors in them. He likes like a honey bourbon tobacco, or like something like that. Different flavored tobacco flavors he loves. As long as it has that tobacco note to where it brings back that flavor that he likes, he'll enjoy it. And I told him, you don't have to worry about not being able to get this stuff. I will make sure this stuff gets in your hands. No doubt. Because that's one person I don't want going back to smoking, because he straight up said vaping is the reason why I haven't picked up a cigarette. He's one of the people that actually came up to me and was like, you know what these people we need to start doing? Non-compliance. And I agree. My brother hasn't even been doing this for a year.
You know what's the funny part? America keeps bragging about don't go to black market stuff. That kind of shit, that kind of decision will make literally millions of people go to the black market.
It will create one of the biggest black markets in history. It will.
I mean, it's a handful of people who wanted to make vaping like it was in 2014. They're about to get it.
Yeah. Because vaping in 2014 was pretty much a black market.
You know, it was going into e-cig form, and it was getting into secret groups and all this other shit.
Going to e-cig forum, learning how to DIY.
And here we are now where we're already going back to it. I mean, I know the shop I used to work for got its start through the Jimmy the Juice Man group, because dude would set up group buys for Jimmy the Juice Man liquid, and that was what actually funded his ability to start a vape shop. So, as weird as it is to say, I can't help but think that there's going to be a vaping renaissance, for lack of a better term. That on the other side of all of this, there's going to be a resurgence of vape. And at that point, a lot of people will have cashed in the chips and walked away. A lot of people will have moved on in their interest and no longer have the desire to go back to it. And then there's going to be us. The people who fought through it tooth and nail all the way through the bitter end. And that future is ours.
Let me look at it. Let me tell you guys at it this way. With everything that's going on right now, it's pretty much like all of what we believe in, all what we choose to stand for is being set on fire. And everything's burning down right now. State of Massachusetts, New York, Michigan, that's all burning down right now in the vaping world. But the people that are staying into this, staying passionate, saying that they look at LabWorks, he doesn't live in the freaking United States, and he's straight up saying he will never stop fighting. These people, everybody who is fighting the good fight on Twitter and letting people know how they feel, we will be the people rising from the ashes.
Mm-hmm.
We will be the people rising from the ashes that take this industry back and to make it what it once was. It may not ever be to the point to where it was, but damn, we're not going to stop until we try. Because that's how it is.
The future is ours, guys. That's one of the things that I feel like I have to stress to everybody is when you continue to keep the passion and you continue to fight and you don't let anything stop you, the future is yours. The science will win at some point.
It may not be right now. It may not be a year from now. But as long as you keep fighting, as long as you stay into it, as long as you have that mindset to where nobody's going to be able to tell me what I can and can't do, and nobody will stop me, you're going to be there at the very end, raising that flag in victory. Because we will win. It may not be now. It may not be 2 years from now. But we'll be the ones rising from the ashes and all this, and we will come out of this on top. They can't hide from
Aziz, like, hey, I need you to ship me a package.
They can't hide from us forever. They can't hide the science forever. I mean, look, it's already happening. People are already starting to notice. My mom doesn't even vape or smoke. She knows what's going on. It's complete craziness.
Mm-hmm.
Think of how many other thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that probably have the same exact opinion when they find out. And that's a lot of voices. With this march on Washington happening, I can see people who don't even vape or smoke showing up to that rally. Because that rally isn't just fighting for vape privileges. It isn't fighting for this industry. That rally is for fighting for human fucking rights. Constitutional rights. Rights that we were given when this country was formed.
And we have the numbers. We have the numbers.
We have the numbers and we have the voices to do it.
Oh, hell yes. So put your shit aside, ban up, go to that rally if you are near. If you are within driving distance. I know the States it's a huge place. So ban up, but you should aside, show them that this product, this way of life works. Show them proof. If you are if you don't feel any, how can I say this, but if you are willing to show them medical records of yourself, your progress, and you don't mind showing them, please do.
And there's a lot of people that have play in the medical industry who are fighting for us as well.
Dude,
all these doctors and these... It's amazing. It's literally amazing that these doctors are taking time out of their busy work schedule, working at these institutes, and all that stuff. And look at the guy who came out to New Jersey. He didn't need to, but he's fighting for something that he knows. The science is there. He's done his own research, and he knows this is a safer alternative. And he's fighting for something that a true doctor would go out and fight for. Something that can save the life of millions. That's just one person. Think of how many other people out there who have that same opinion. The medical field, if you have ploy in the medical field, you can make things happen. If you have a good reputation in the medical field, people will listen. Show them the data. Show them the research. All the information is in our hands. We just got to distribute it the correct way. And I know you guys are going to have the kind of mindset of they're not going to listen either way. Doesn't matter. Take the information and shove it down their throat to where they can't help, but when they exhale, it is facts. The facts and the science. Do not give them the option. Do not give them the choice.
I've been I've been employed in my job since 2012, late 2012, and I had every year my annual checkup through my company. I have this one doctor that keeps tabs on my progress. Early 2017, he told me that he actually congratulated me, told me that you now have a lung of a non-smoker.
I mean, you can't make that shit up. You can't. Doctors are saying this. People who had almost permanent damage done to their lungs. Permanent damage that people would think would never go away. Look at this. People are able to... Look at all these testimonies that have been happening. How they say, I smoked for 30 plus years. And looking at it, look at how Logan said last week. How when he was playing with his kids, after 10 minutes of playing, he had to sit down and take a break. And what did he do when he was taking that 15-minute break? When he couldn't freaking breathe? He smoked a cigarette. Look at these people now who are telling their testimonies of being off of cigarettes for like 5-6 years. These people are actually able to run marathons. How do you explain that to people? How do you explain that? That's the closest thing I've ever thought of to being a medical miracle. Because we all know the damage cigarettes make. We all know. I've personally seen it firsthand. Three family members of mine, have died from smoking-related illness. 3. All 3 of them are grandparents. And just me having the mindset of, I wish this industry was around to where, when that happened, because think about it, it may not have done enough to where it would have saved them, but it could have added years to their life to where I could have had more time with family and especially going towards looking at my grandmother. I'm kind of go a little bit personal here because I feel like that's the kind of mood I'm in right now, and it's kind of the situation I'm dealing with. That's still a battle within me. Me and her didn't have the best relationship towards the end. She kind of was, and I was at work when I got the call when she was in the hospital, and they said you need to get to Rockford, which is pretty much Rockford, Illinois is probably like a half hour from me. I got a call during work from my mom saying you need to get here now. She probably won't survive an hour. I got there. I drove as fast as I could, going like 100 miles an hour down the fucking highway. I got there minutes too late. I showed up to the hospital. My mom was already there. My brother was already there. And going there, trying to be able to take her hand and say, it's okay. We know. I never had the opportunity to tell her that I'm taking all the bullshit aside and all the the kind of family drama that was around. I'm going to be there for her. I wanted to be there for her as she took her final breaths. They might have been struggling breaths, but I wanted to be there holding her hand saying it's okay. And I missed it by like 10, 15 minutes. Smoking is taken away from family away from me. I am damned fucking sure that I am not going to stop fighting for that reason alone. They taught me to, if you ever believe in something, if you ever think that what you believe in is right, do not stop fighting for it. And I will be damned if fucking any government official or any fucking police officer is going to tell me that otherwise. That's why I fight for them. That's the reason why I fight. Go into that cemetery and see both of them. I'm saying I will not give up because you two are some of the reasons why I do not stop fighting. I do not want to see other people be in that tomb, see their names on that tombstone. We have the option. This is a life change, one of the biggest life-changing things that have happened in the medical field in the last 120 years. One of the biggest things that could save millions of fucking lives. And with all this stuff happening, it's just going to be taken away from us. One of the biggest technological advances in the medical field in over 120 years. That's comparing it to cancer medication. People's lives are being saved because of this stuff. It just blows my mind. I'm getting pissed off thinking about it.
Yeah.
How are people so ignorant that they're going to deny the science? Or, don't even get me started on some of the stuff I heard from these Health Michigan and like some of the stuff that happened in my state recently. Because let me backtrack a little bit. I'll stop with the emotion stuff and kind of get a little angry Poonsauce on you guys. So Monday, Chicago had their public health hearing. They were discussing this crisis that is happening in the state and within the country. So they had two district attorneys from the Lake County. I would say it's a more northwest county of Illinois, out of the Chicago city limits. They said something that literally made me want to throw something. Made me want to I almost went bonkers when I heard that, because how could somebody even... Okay, I'm just going to straight up say it. If you haven't heard on the Ohmies that I talked about it, and they actually said that vaping is one of the causes that is a main reason why the opioid crisis is as bad as it is. Take that in. These people are going off information that I can probably bet you doesn't even exist. They're creating false information to saying vaping is one of the leading causes of why an opioid addiction exists in this country. I was at work listening to this, and I actually had to look at my phone when I had the hearing going and be like, what? Like, what gives them the parameters to kind of say stuff like that? I mean, this was government officials for the state of Illinois were there, and they heard that. People who don't do their own research, don't do that stuff. They're only there because they have to. They're only there because they make a paycheck. And a lot of those people they take the information that they get and kind of let it stick with them. They pay attention to the news. They don't go out of their way to learn studies about something. They look at the studies that are thrown in front of them from big media companies or government officials who think they know what they're doing. I mean, these are people paid by the fucking state that are coming out and saying that something that extreme. How do you not get angry from that?
I heard the same thing when I went to the town hall meeting here in my own town. My tobacco control official said the exact same thing, that not only are they putting cannabis products in it, but they're also putting heroin in. No, they're fucking not. No, they're fucking not.
Like, I believe there was a health official there that was, I'm not sure if it was campaign for tobacco-free kids or if it was somebody from the Lung Association or Heart Association, but what they did, they brought out something that I haven't seen in the vape industry for years. Something that I wouldn't be proud of that we created. And it's one of those things to where they actually brought in those hoodies from back in the day where the string was actually a mouthpiece to where you could vape out of. That's the kind of ammunition they're using against us, guys. Mm-hmm. Stuff that's 5-6 years old that you could find on some fucking Chinese website. There's actually websites right now who are still creating that kind of product. Those people need to be fucking gone. Because people don't understand that they're trying to create something that's a trend. They're trying to create something that they know what people will buy. They're trying to get into a community, a micro community that will cash in on it. People don't understand that this stuff that they created 5-6 years ago is being used as ammunition today. Stuff that isn't even relevant in the vaping industry now. These are the steps these people are taking at us.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like going to apply for a job interview, and let's say 20 years ago you got put in prison for something for like smoking marijuana. Them taking those records and say, you smoked marijuana 20 years ago and you put in prison for it or got filed for possession. We're not going to hire you because of that.
That happens every day in this country in every state in the union. Wait. Oh, it gets better. What if I told you that marijuana prohibition also, aside from it having its roots in big business wanting to dominate and not let cannabis get involved, but also had a racist undertone because they knew that a large portion of disenfranchised black individuals within different communities also consumed cannabis. And this would give them an opportunity to arrest cannabis users en masse and put them in jail, thereby cleaning up the streets in their eyes.
Dude, this is just stupidity. Mm-hmm. Not every single white person is a KKK member. Not every black person is a Black Panther. Not every Muslim is a terrorist.
Exactly.
That's just stereotyping. And
that's literally what we're seeing now. That was what was used to fuel the reefer madness in the 40s and 50s and 60s, and it's what's happening now in this. Let's be clear. They are finding other illicit drugs in these weed cartridges, okay? There was a story in one of the vape groups about a woman who bought a dank vape cartridge on the street, and it got her sick. And when the doctors did the drug test and everything on her, they found THC, but they also found cocaine. Here's the thing, all right? As much as the majority of vapors in the vape community are great people, there are some shady people in the vape community. We know this. Same goes for the world.
Community.
Right.
In every community.
Same goes for cannabis. And that being said, when you get into states that don't have even a legal market of any kind, you are literally dealing with the black market drug trade. So the same people who sell heroin and sell cocaine have a reason to sell vape cartridges because it sells. People want it and they can make money. Those people, they're in it because it's the only way they make money. It's the only way they know how. They don't understand how to make money in a legitimate sense. They only know the street. I've known these people. I've made them my friends in the past. And, I understand how that works. The street is what the street is. And when all you know how to do is make your paper on the street, that's what you do. And so when it came to just bud, people would sell bud to each other, and it was mostly pothead to pothead, and it wasn't a big deal. Well, now that vape cartridges are in such high demand when it comes to the cannabis oil, anybody in the street wants to make their money on it. So now you've got people, dope dealers, coke dealers, people who are used to cutting a product in order to maximize profits. These people are now working in cannabis as well in a way that they never would have dealt with cannabis before. And they're doing the same thing, and they're using the exact same principles. They're using deception, and they're trying to mask their cutting agents so that this way people don't know. And that is what is harming people. It is what's making people so sick. It's what's making people die. And that's the war cry that I think so many of us are frustrated by, is that we already know. Like Massachusetts being a perfect example, we banned vaping in general. We banned the fucking technology as a whole. So that included these THC vapes, which means in my state, a state that is both medically legal and recreationally legal, nobody can get a verifiably safe vape cartridge filled with THC distillate.
You gave them the only option they have is black market.
Exactly.
The only option they have.
That literally exacerbated the problem in my state. A state that hasn't had a death yet and only a handful of illness. They've just given that power to those illicit drug dealers, because those people, they're already selling dope. They're already selling coke. They're already doing these things. They're not keeping a clean laboratory like a verifiable place. That's the thing. We argue about nicotine being safe because it's made in these ISO labs. We have those same stringent standards for cannabis production. And so you're making them in clean labs when you're making these products through the dispensaries. But when you take all that product away for 4 months, you drive people to the street where I'm not going to say only, because let's be honest, some of the medical and recreational product makes its way to the street too. But the vast majority is bathroom chemist. It's kitchen chemists. It's people extracting the oil in their own home and then selling it to people. And not only do you have the threat of these cutting agents, but you have the threat of people improperly extracting. There's a form of extraction called butane extraction, BHO, butane hash oil, that literally uses butane, a can of butane, to remove the oil from the product. If this isn't properly purged after the fact, you leave butane behind, and you should not be vaping butane. Like, this is the madness that we're faced with. And
let me just say something.
Please do.
The government is being like one of those anxious parents. They're trying to. They actually did in some of one state that I know of, ban all vape product. You know, when you have, for example, one of those, when you have a small kid, your child, that keeps playing around, finds the toolbox, gets the hammer out of the toolbox, and starts hitting shit, the brick wall, that kind of stuff. That anxious parents, what does he do? You're not allowed in the tool shed. Period. What I'm trying to say is, vape products are a tool. You can use it in a good manner or in a bad manner. Same as cannabis products. I don't know all about cannabis products, but it's also a tool. You can use it to reduce that anxiety, to basically feel relaxed, or you can use it in a bad manner, which actually I don't know about. But same as this phone, you can use it in a good fashion and a bad fashion.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ban a tool because someone used it wrong.
Yep.
What about the million cases that people have used it in a right manner?
Absolutely. I mean, a great example of that, like, we don't ban cars for drunk driving. We don't ban insulin because of heroin addiction. We don't. We don't do those things because that doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense. But when we ban an entire technology across the board, not only do we embolden the black market, but on top of that, this is a state in Massachusetts where we pride ourselves on technological advancement. We pride ourselves on a strong economy. We pride ourselves on low unemployment. We just knocked out 300 to 600 plus businesses, putting 1,000, 2,000 people on unemployment.
That's one state.
Yeah.
That is just
Minimum.
one state. Look at New York. Look at the size of New York. Look at the size of Michigan. Think of how many other thousands of people lost their jobs because of this.
Beyond all that, we're a science-based state. You know, we have Harvard University. We have MIT in this state. And we are kowtowing to nonsense, bullshit science. The fact that they have the nerve to say that we don't know what's causing these illnesses when they quote CDC articles from a month ago. And the CDC's already come out and been like, yeah, you know, it looks like it's bad carts. They don't get it. You know, I feel like at this point, it becomes a circle jerk. And that's why I'm strictly preaching at this point. Be a warrior. Be a rebel. Fight the fight. Fight for other states. Fight for other counties. Fight for your own state and county. Help your fellow vapors. If it means finding somebody a pack of Fix Pods or Jewel Pods, fucking do it. Help your fellow vapor to prevent them from going back to cigarettes. Help them figure out an exit strategy. Something. But help your fellow vapors. Help your fellow man. We are a really, really respectable community when you look at us with our lens. Let's expand that so that the rest of the world can see what kind of a community we are. Show people that your heart is huge, because at the end of the day, that's what this all comes down to. We've all got big hearts. We've all got a lot of compassion and empathy. That's why we want to protect this so bad. And that's what I really hope we can stress right now is show them that that's the motivation, that we understand.
In a respectable way.
Absolutely.
Of course.
We've been stereotyped for a long fucking time. And that's why we're in this situation. I'm sorry, Sean, but when someone looks at a dreaded guy with piercing, they stereotype. That's unfortunately that's how the mind works.
This was a country built on freedom and idealists around freedom, but you can see it now. This is a country right now who is one of the things that it's built on right now is stereotypes.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
You could see it in so many different places, so many different sub-communities, and just going through and just looking at different races, how people react to different races. It's so much more than vaping now. It's so this thing we're fighting for is so much more than vaping.
I've been to the States. I've been stereotyped. In Miami International, I've been held up for 6 hours because I was a Muslim and an Arab. I didn't have a long beard. I had this goatee. But since I was from an Arab country and a Muslim that is literally said on my passport, I've been held up for 6 hours. Mm-hmm. I've been interrogated for 5 times. Same questions. When are we gonna evolve? When 9/11 happened, some asshole who was an Arab, who was a Muslim, used my religion in a bad way.
Hey, Christians, Crusades, kind of the pot calling the kettle black, guys. Point
Killing
in case.
millions of people for not believing in what you believe in.
You know, at the end of the day, that's what this country is built on now. I mean, times like these, you lose faith in the system that we were taught in civics and in social studies and all those classes in school. Because you're taught to believe that this world is a world of freedoms and that anybody with a great idea can go make it in this world. And then as you grow up, the jaded reality hits you that this world is a very mean and nasty place. And it's not made for individuals who want to go against the grain. And yet here we are, a bunch of people from varying political and socioeconomic backgrounds who found a technology that did just that and went against the grain, something that was a consumer-created solution to a greater problem than all of ourselves, and had the potential to change lives. And because it goes against the grain and it changes the paradigm of how we are forced to think, we're left with a disconnect where those who don't want to accept these changes aren't willing to accept truth and facts, while the rest of us are standing here like petulant children in the rain screaming. And at some point, that petulant child has to be listened to. And that's where we're at now. We are that angry little child standing in the middle of the crowded courtroom screaming for their mom. And eventually someone's going to stop ignoring us and listen. We have the facts. We have the science. We can make this happen. But like Aziz just said, when are we going to evolve as a people, as humans in general? I've said it before that there's a shift in our consciousness, and that right now we're dealing with a giant struggle between those two sets of thinking. The muddy frequencies, the lower frequencies, the old world way of thinking is going to try to fight at every turn against these changes. But at the end of the day, as strange as it seems and as impossible as it feels, good always triumphs over evil. It always does. And this time you're on the winning side. This is a battle where you're on the side of good, and it's going to triumph. And Poonsauce said it. It may not be in a year, and it may not be in 2 years, but we're fighting on the side of good. And at the end, good always triumphs over evil. And we can win this. I promise you. I wouldn't be here today in a state that outright banned vaping telling you this if I didn't truly believe it.
There's one thing I want to say, a quote that I want to reference before we head on out of here and say goodbye to the viewers. This is something from Lord of the Rings. I know, a fantasy movie. But Samwise Gamgee said it perfectly. There's some good things in this world, Mr. Frodo. and it's worth fighting for. That's pretty much it. There's still some good left in this world. We've seen it countless of times again, and we will continue to fight for it, and we will fight for it. And it's worth fighting for, because at the end of the day, this is something that is bigger than all of us, and we will end up on top. So anybody who feels like they've given up, don't.
Just think about it. It's only a matter of time. How long are they gonna suppress science?
They can't keep us down forever.
Exactly. Just keep that positive mentality moving, ignited. That little flame. Just keep it on.
And on that note, guys, we're gonna say goodbye to you all. I'm happy everybody came in and shared their opinions with us. Sean, any last words you want to say to the chat and the viewers?
Of course, first I want to thank Aziz
for accidentally popping in and bringing some great conversation.
Yeah,
no problem.
What a great happy accident to have happen, because sometimes it really is wonderful to have your perspective from the outside looking in.
Yep.
And this was a great moment where you can take your personal experiences from your life and reflect on what we're going through here and really say some shit that inspires the hell out of all of us. So I want to thank you personally for that. And of course, I'm going to say the same thing I've been saying to everybody in the chat lately. Guys, I'm proud of all of you. I really am. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You guys keep fighting. And I know it because I see it. And I'm proud of all of you. And I'm honored to know all of you. So I'm going to say it like I always say it. Keep giving the bastards hell. Don't let those bastards get you down. Remember to be cool and don't be a dick. And we're going to keep it cloudy. I promise.
On that note, everybody, we're going to say goodnight to you all. Don't forget to tune in on Saturday. I'm going to try to have a little bit of lighter note, something we can have fun with and just talk to somebody. Just have a little fun, try to lighten the mood a little bit. So stay tuned for that. And me and Sean will see you all next Wednesday. And hopefully we won't need to talk about another state losing. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can talk about some good news that happened. So keep on fighting, keep on shouting, keep on screaming to the heavens, because they can't keep us down. We're going to continue to fight, and we're going to continue until we can't stop them anymore. Or they can't stop us anymore. If we're fighting a losing fight, then we're going to fight till our last breaths. So on that note, everybody, I'd like to thank everybody again for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Laters. Up, hold on. God damn it, stream.
Oh, God.
Hold on, hold please. We're still alive. Oh, God.
You gotta fight for
okay.
your right to vape on.
Bye, guys.